Now, typically, anytime a team hires a new head coach, there's a certain feeling of refresh. There's a certain feeling of starting anew. There's a certain buzz and excitement that's generated throughout the organization, with the players, with the fans, with the media, because everything is new. You have so much potential, a possibility of what could or could not be in the long term, but it represents a change. And it's funny, so often in life, we are incredibly resistant to change. We're scared of it. We're terrified of it. But we so welcome it with our sports teams, don't we? It's just a really funny dynamic to me. So, a lot of times organizations make these changes and fan bases get excited. And the reality is in a few years, they'll be starting the cycle all over again. And you're just hoping that you got one of the few instances that actually paid off, that actually worked, that actually was good. And that's what the Jets are hoping with the hiring of new head coach Robert Saleh. And there's no question that he was a hot candidate. There is no question that his work with the defense the past couple of seasons in San Francisco indicated that this motherfucker deserves a head coaching job and opportunity. What he does with it and how he does with it, time will tell. But there was no way that he should go another offseason cycle of the coaching carousel without landing somewhere with a new head coaching opportunity. That's just the name of the game here. And you look at a Robert Saleh, and what you see to me is a guy that's not only a great defensive mind, a skilled defensive mind, both from a play calling standpoint and the ability to get players to play above and beyond themselves, but I see a culture builder. I see a guy that you want to go to war with. I see a guy that you will follow, who will lead you. I see a guy who can get the best out of everybody that he's involved with. Might sound like I'm exaggerating, but I don't think it is based off of what we saw the past couple of seasons for San Francisco. So if the Jets got this right, is what I'm trying to say. Now, who knows how the results are going to play out in a few years? He could be fired in 3 years for all we know. It could be a total bust, and we're right back to the Jets being the Jets again. But man, every indication that you have, at least initially, is that this guy's going to be really good. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Sometimes that's just the name of the game. Now, obviously, the other big story for the Jets was the trading away of Sam Darnold and moving away from Sam Darnold. Why? Because they drafted Zach Wilson, the quarterback from BYU, number 2 overall. And you have some fans, probably some maybe, that are wondering, why would you give up on Sam Darnold after 3 years? Why wouldn't you sit there and give him another chance? Why would you sit there and basically start the cycle over again with the number 2 overall pick when you could have used that to build up the team? Well, a couple of things. Number one, after 3 years, if you don't know that Sam Darnold can be the guy for the Jets or not, that means he can't be the guy for the Jets anymore. He's not going to be the guy for the Jets. So you trade or get rid of Sam Darnold, period. You have a general manager who didn't draft him, a head coach who wasn't part of the decision-making process. Newer general managers, new head coaches typically means new quarterback. That's the way it should be. When it makes sense, that's the way it absolutely should be. Would you want your job on the line with Sam Darnold? No, you fucking wouldn't if you were in that position. Give me a damn break. Now, who knows if Zach Wilson's going to be any different than Sam Darnold? I'll say with Zach Wilson, you've got more physical tools to work with. You've got more big-time upside than Sam Darnold to work with. But the Jets are kind of paying the price for choosing the wrong quarterback in 2018 when it should have been Josh Allen. When in doubt, gamble on the superior physical tools. If you learn anything about the quarterback position in drafting, when in doubt, gamble on the impressive physical tools. Because those tend to manifest. Those don't tend to go away. That doesn't mean a guy ultimately is going to be that dude. But it sure is nice to have him. So I can understand now for Jets fans that understand what they've potentially got in Robert Saleh, what they potentially got in Zach Wilson, who was my QB1 in this draft this year. that they've got the startings of something different, something that's going to change the trajectory of the Jets organization. And this was an organization that had a bunch of money to spend in free agency, and they certainly did. They went out and got Carl Lawson, but unfortunately he's injured and going to be out for the year now. Brought in guys, though, like Corey Davis, Sheldon Rankins, Morgan Moses, Justin Hardy, Keelan Cole, Jared Davis, Dan Feeney, LaMarcus Joyner, Vinny Curry, Tevin Coleman, Tyler Croft. With Carl Lawson going down, they brought in another Lawson. They traded for Shaq Lawson, got him from the Houston Texans. Like, this looks good in theory, but what this really tells you is how badly this organization has fucked up over the years in the draft. When you have to go this heavily year in and year out into free agency, it means you have a lot of cap space, which means you don't have a quarterback, which means you've missed on a lot of other picks in the draft, so you're trying to plug in holes and fill in the pieces elsewhere. And not like plug and play certain fits or certain pieces. You're trying to make a roster, not a formula for success. Hence why the Jets were picking number 2 overall. They have to hope that Zach Wilson can change everything along with Robert Saleh. I love what they did in the draft, though. Outside of Zach Wilson, go get Elijah Vera Tucker. You draft the quarterback, now you got to protect him. And then in round 2, being able to get Elijah Moore, like, I won't be surprised if he plays like a first-round pick from day one in his career. He should have been a first-round pick. He wasn't, and he's probably going to make some teams regret passing on him. So you look at that triumvirate right there. Like, those feel like 3 building blocks for the Jets offense going forward. And going forward into 2021, when you look at this team on paper, what stands out, this is a decent run defense that certainly is only going to get better under the head coaching of Robert Saleh. Defensive coaching in general, Robert Saleh and his staff. Like, you might say I'm ball washing Saleh here a little bit. So what? The man makes babies. That is worth admiring and respecting. But more so, like, he has a proven track record of knowing that side of the football. So you would hope and believe that as much has been invested in this Jets defense over the years, in terms of draft pick capital, in terms of cap space, etc., that Saleh is going to get them to be the absolute best they can be. And then look at that offensive line. You know, Mekhi Becton and now Elijah Vera Tucker. I like this young, athletic offensive line. Like, this offensive line can be really, really good, and I think they're going to be a strength of this team in 2021. In terms of some of the questions that I have defensively, probably the biggest thing is the pass rush. And again, Carl Lawson going down certainly didn't help. They're going to need to be able to generate some consistent pass rush, and it will be incumbent upon their defensive coaching staff to figure out ways to manufacture that with the talent that they have. And then I look at the running game. You know, LaMichael Perine, you know, maybe mid-round pick Michael Carter could factor into this backfield equation at some point in time, but this is not exactly a great backfield. And you wonder how much they're going to be able to consistently rely on the running game, which is a little bit of concern with a young quarterback. And then obviously, as always, it's going to be Zach Wilson. He's a rookie. He hasn't started a single NFL game yet. Who knows how those things translate from BYU? You know, and the reality is he only had one really great year at BYU. So was he a one-year wonder? Or was it more of a thing of he was finally healthy, had a good situation, took advantage of it, and it's launched him off onto a better trajectory to come? We'll see. He can make a lot of special plays, and a lot of NFL throws happen, and a lot of throws that many guys in the league just can't make. So I'm more inclined to believe that if this organization, that's the key thing, if this organization does well building around him, you know, they've got something here. But he's going to need to show, without a doubt, that he can be the guy in year one. In terms of their schedule, I look at a couple of stretches here. The first few weeks of the year, at Carolina, hosting New England, at Denver, Tennessee, at Atlanta. You know, some of those are winnable games. I know 3 of the 5 are on the road, but Carolina certainly a game they have a chance. New England is a divisional game. New England's going to be starting their own rookie quarterback. There's a chance to make a statement early in the division. Denver, even though you're going to Mile High, is a chance to win. You know, hosting Tennessee, at Atlanta, potentially another chance to win. So you could see the Jets, if Robert Saleh's defense plays well early and Zach Wilson does okay and acquits himself well to the NFL early, you know, this might be a Jets team that surprises people early on in the year. And then I look a little bit later in the schedule and I say weeks 10 to 14. You've got 4 home games in a 5-game stretch. 4 of them in a 5-game stretch. You've got Buffalo, Miami. The road game in between is Houston. Philly, New Orleans. Now, if you look at this, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but if you look at this and you say, okay, if they could beat either Buffalo or Miami at home and find a way to win those other 3 games, that's another 4-1 stretch on the season. Like, are we starting to think that the Jets are a playoff team? I won't go that far just yet. That saying, having 4 home games in a 5-game stretch, that is an opportunity that you want to pounce upon and you want to take advantage of. There's a piece of me that wonders if I'm underrating the Jets here a little bit. There's a piece of me that wonders if this team's going to be a little bit better than where I'm slotting them. Because I look at them right now and I see some things that I really, really like. It's just hard sometimes because what am I going to do? I'm not going to pick them to finish ahead of Buffalo. Miami didn't get worse, and they were a double-digit win team last year. Yes, New England's starting a rookie quarterback, but they also have the greatest head coach in NFL history in Bill Belichick. It's hard at this point to pick the Jets above anybody else. But I certainly look at them and say, you know what? I don't think a 7-win season is out of the cards for them. It's a possibility. Maybe 6 is more likely. But if you get the Jets this year to be a 6 or 7-win team, Robert Saleh shows that he's well equipped for the job. Zach Wilson shows that he can be that dude. You gotta feel really, really damn good about that if you're a Jets fan.